Ladies and gentlemen, every weekend we review after the market is closed the market scenario of the current week, the most important macroeconomic issues, how the market is expected to behave in the next week, and from now onwards we'll also discuss how to identify a fundamentally strong company. So far, index is concerned today, the Sensex was down by 415 points and it closed at 62,868. Nifty also closed at 18,696 after reaching to its record peak yesterday. Major macroeconomic issues are concerned. I would like to refer the opinion of the member of the Economic Advisory Council to PMO, Dr. Sanjeev Sannal. He opined the country's GDP will increase by 6.8 to 7% during 22-23. If you consider the world as a whole, you will find this rate of growth around 7% is considered to be fair and reasonable. Regarding other macroeconomic issues are concerned, I will tell you that India started recovering its foreign exchange loss in the last 5-6 months, and now the foreign exchange reserve has reached to $547. Next is that automobile sale. You must have seen today's paper that automobile sales have picked up and around 3,20,000 vehicles have been manufactured and sold in the month of November. Almost all automobile manufacturers have recorded a positive growth in the month of November 2022. US inflation rate is cooling down and it is now 7.7%. As you know, US inflation and Fed rate, these are highly linked. If the inflation is high, then Fed has to increase its interest rate and it will impact the emerging economies. So therefore, we can expect the Feds will take a very prudent decisions while increasing further interest rate. Now, so far India is concerned, India is going to have its Monetary Policy Committee meeting on 5th December to 7th December. So we are expecting the report of the Reserve Bank of India on 7th December and we'll come to know whether there is any further rate increase. Since the inflation is at 6.7%, we feel that it is still very high based on the economic parameters framed by the country, which is 6%. So we expect that the MPC committee might increase interest rate further between 25 basis points to 35 basis points. If the interest is increased, then again borrowing will be impacted. The rate of interest on borrowing will increase, but at the same time the good news is that the fixed deposit holders might expect further increase of rate in fixed deposit. Next important fiscal information is with regard to GST collections. The GST collection for the month of October 22 is approximately 1.45 lakh crores, and it is 11% higher as compared to the last year. Next, very important information for all of you and for the neighboring nations also, that India recorded highest production of wheat during 22-23 season. So it is a very good news, taking into account the food security point into consideration. Now, another very important and very positive news is the oil price. In every discussion, I always touch upon this important subject. Now, oil price has started coming down, and today, right now, it is hovering in the range of $86.70 per barrel, against 95 about 2 weeks back, against $135 about 5-6 months back. You all know India imports 85% of its crude oil requirement, and it is completely import based. So therefore, we have a huge amount of trade deficit, mainly because of the higher cost of the crude and of course inflation in other commodities. But now the crude price has started coming down. It is 86 or $87. It will help India in various areas. Number one, its trade deficit will come down. If trade deficit comes down, foreign exchange deposit will increase significantly. If price come down, then oil price will come down. If oil price come down, it will impact to all commodities, because almost all industry and product depend on petrol, diesel, etc. But another, I will not say bad news, it's a good come bad news, because diesel consumption has increased. You see, if oil consumption increases, automatically it impacts the country's revenue, because we import 85% of the oil. But at the same time, it indicates that higher economy, higher production, and that is why the diesel consumption has increased in the month of November 22. So that is why I say it is a mix of good and bad informations. Friends, you all know that from 1st December 2022, India is holding its presidency position in G20. Since India is holding the presidency for a period of 1 year effective from 1st December 2022 to 30th November 2023, we are expecting few areas in a positive manner. First, ease of cross-border trade. Second, legal aid to the various developing and emerging countries to fight their issues in the WTO. Fighting issues in the WTO is a very costly proposition. So, small countries can fight their issues with regard to the tariff related matter, non-tariff related matter in the WTO. There will be some ease of tariff issues, non-tariff issues, environment related matter, Digital market research facilities for MSME. This is a very important area. Now, if this facility is provided, then all MSMEs in India will be able to understand the activities of the other MSMEs located outside India. And they can start their negotiations and do the import-export in a very seamless manner. So these are our expectations in this new G20 committee where India will hold the presidency position. Now we have discussed the macro-related issues. We have also discussed how the market behaves. Now we'll discuss how market is expected to behave in the next week. Next week means 5th December to 9th December 22. We are extremely positive about the market, and barring unforeseen circumstances, I think market will continue to behave in the secular manner, and we can have our confidence in our fundamentally strong companies. Friends, I would like to suggest few ways to find out the fundamentally strong company. I am a long-term investor, at least more than 30 years, and I am not talking from any books or any specific referring any specific ratios, all these things, not complicated. I am just trying to explain you how would you be able to find out a fundamentally strong company as a layman, just seeing certain activities. Number one, you must see which company and which market and which industry. Never see the company, first see the industry where it belongs. For example, you have selected HDFC Bank. Now, HDFC Bank belongs to banking industry. Is the banking industry is growing? If the answer is yes, according to me, yes, it is growing highly. In that case, I will touch the security. If the industry does not behave well, if the industry does not do well, even if the company is good, I will think twice to touch a company. So first you have to see the industry. For example, automobile. Automobile is little bit in a difficult terrain because of the COVID-19. But I am 100% sure the automobile will take a very high position in the next few months. As you find in today's newspaper about automobile sales in the month of November 22, almost all automobile manufacturers have shown a growth between 20 to 55%. So therefore, first you select the industry and then you select the best companies within the same industry. Once you do this particular parameter and check it, then you go with certain few ratios. One of the most important area or percent is the return on capital employed. This is a very important thing to understand. Now, if the capital employed, how would you understand whether the return on capital employed is fair or not? You do not have any such way to understand. Now, I will give you a very easy way to understand. You must know the country's growth. Suppose country's growth we are expecting 22-23 is around 7%. And what is the inflation? So we are expecting inflation of around, I am talking about for the year as a whole, between 6 to 7. So I consider 6. That means country's growth is 7 and inflation is 6. Therefore, I must have minimum 12 to 13% growth, that is return on capital employed. If I find a company having a return on capital employed, say 15, 16, 18, 20, with a positive growth in the industry as well as the company is growing, if these three parameters are fulfilled, industry is growing, company is growing, which we can find out from their unaudited quarterly results, and third, most important thing is the return on capital employed. And we must consider the inflation plus country's growth as the basic parameter. If our earning is more than that, then I can certainly shortlist those companies in my fundamental list. Friends, I explain all these things to understand how to find out best companies. Of course, there are other factors depend. Its corporate governance is the most important thing. Even the company is doing very well, even the percentage of profit is very high, but if the governance is bad, if it is controlled by few family managed people and governance is not fair, then even if the company is doing good, even if the industry is doing good, the share will not fetch a very good price. So therefore, over and above the economic parameters, you have also to take recon of the governance factors. Now in this week, I will refer two companies which according to me is considered to be fundamentally strong. And that is, number one is Asian Paints, and number two is that Pidilite. If you review this company's growth, if you review its industry, if you review its return on capital employed, if you review its return on net worth, you will find all the figures are quite positive. Now, fundamentally strong company does not necessarily mean the price will go up tomorrow, but it is a very strong company which has a very strong defense to withstand many issues. As I have already explained, that apart from the company's performance, there are many other factors that influence the stock market, like political situations, flood, COVID-19, US war, US economy, US inflation, US Fed rate increase. Many factors influence the market. But if you want to be in the equity market, and particularly if you are a beginner, you always try for a fundamentally strong company and also read about, invest in yourself to understand more about the company, more about the country, more about the world, and then only you can survive in the stock market. There is no easy way out. Thank you very much to attend in these weekly deliberations.